Welcome to my July reading journal setup. I have a new journal since I ran out of space in my previous one. My new bullet journal has two otters holding hands, and I find that adorable. This is going to be a pretty quick video because I have a simple setup this time. I really like the simple setup that I made. It was nice to not overthink a setup and just have fun with it. I chose a circle theme for the setup. I have only one page for my cover page spread. The idea for this setup is to draw circles for each of the letters. I am primarily using markers for making the setup and pen for the writing part. In terms of color palette, I chose bright colors, specifically orange, pink, blue, purple, and yellow. Then for lettering, I am just writing like how I normally do. That's all I'll be doing, and it will be interesting to see how this whole setup turns out. To be read is the next spread. I am using this to manage all the books I have that I have not yet read. This is a good way to track how many books I haven't read and hopefully remind myself to read them. For the circle letters, I have one circle higher or lower than the previous one, which creates a wavy-like look to the title. I liked having a wave to my letters last month, so I'm continuing this month. It's a nice way to add some fun to the title and my spreads, especially since I have a simple setup this time. I feel that in my most recent setups, I keep using similar colors. I don't know why I'm doing that, but I keep choosing bright colors. When picking out the markers, I thought I was picking out completely different colors than I did for my previous setup, but now looking at it, I can tell that a lot of the markers are similar to ones I used last month. So that is interesting to me, especially because when I was picking them out, I was thinking how these are different than the other ones, how I wanted them to be different from the previous spread so they don't all blend in together. To me, these colors work so well together, so that might be why I keep gravitating to them. I just like how they look together, and these seem to be the colors that I tend to favor. I usually use pen to outline my tables, but I wanted to see how it would look if I used markers instead. I don't think I would do it again, but it turned out nice and fits with the theme. It is nice sometimes to try something new and see how it turns out rather than continuing to do the same thing again and again. Next is Books to Borrow, a place to write down the books I am thinking about borrowing or want to learn more about before I read it. Since this is a long title, I made the circles smaller so that it would all fit in the same line. Also for each of the spreads, I am trying to use different marker combinations so each of the spreads is unique in that way. It's also nice to see different colors used as I flip through my setup. I don't really like using the same colors in each of my spreads because it kind of becomes repetitive, at least for me. So having different color combinations but using the same color palette that I chose is the best for me. I keep changing when I have my monthly book spread. Last month I had it with least and most liked books of the month. This time it has its own page, but I'm going to cut out about half of the page or so. What's behind the spread is my reading tracker, and I wanted to find out how my reading tracker looks like if I gave it less space. I ended up drawing circles with the plan being that they would be on the side of the page so that when I cut out the page, I would follow the circle shapes. And I did this because at this point I thought it was a bad idea to have no decoration, and I was like, I need to do something. The thing is, I didn't sketch out the circles ahead of time, and as you can see, they are uneven and all over the place, and I really didn't know where they were going, and I was really thinking that out, like, oh, I should have done one at a time rather than going all over the place. It would have been better to be circle, circle, and let's continue that way rather than circle one here and then going all the way to the bottom. I don't know why I did that too. So this does not look the best. This is why it's a good idea to sketch out in pencil before going in with pen and marker. Also, it was difficult to cut this out with scissors. I should have used something else that's precise because using scissors to cut the circles is very difficult, it turned out. Reading Tracker is a pretty quick spread. All I have to do is make a calendar and that's about it. I like using a calendar for tracking my reading. It makes me look organized and it is an easy way to write down everything I need. What I have been reading and how far I have gotten. It's nice to have a record of my reading and see how much I read each day or when I don't read or when I finish a book. If you look at the left side, you can see how my circle line design turned out. It's not the best with how difficult it was to cut out and not having a plan with the circle. I am going to cut out the other pages as I usually would. It was nice to try something new, and now I learned that for me, it's better to cut out pages normally. After what I did by adding circles to July books, I think it was a good idea to keep my setup simple. Having circles around the page would have made the pages look cluttered and not as organized. By having only circles for the title letters, it makes me focus more on the title and the purpose of the spread when I look at the page rather than on something else, which is the best for me. For my book log, I have one page again. I didn't read a single book last month, so I didn't get to use my book log. This month, I am sure I'm going to read at least one book so I can see if I prefer 2 lines or 3 lines to write in the title and author and other information I track. I did not have a good reading month last month because I just was busy with other things and I didn't read any books I had, so it was kind of a slow month. But I'm hoping that this month, when I'm not busy anymore, I'll be able to read more consistently. The quote spread is next. This is going to be the quickest spread I make since I am only making the title. I use any space on this page to write down quotes from the books I read this month. Another quick spread to make is least and most liked books of the month. So I don't like having a whole page for this. All I do here is write down the title of the book that I liked least or which one I liked most this month. Then I give a small explanation as to why I have that thought about the book, so that when I look back at this, I can remember why I didn't or did like a book, which is why I'm cutting out half of this page so there is less space to write here and I don't have as much empty space, as well as to cut out from the spread I have after this one. Next up is overview. I cut out about half a page so I don't have 2 whole pages for this like I usually do. I did this intentionally because I wanted to see if having less space would be better for the spread. When I have done this spread previously, I tried to add more drawings or decorations so that there is less empty space. So now with less space, I should not have the problems with too much empty space. I continue to make tables for tracking my book habits. It's just the easiest way for tracking. And when I finish a book, I can just mark out a square for each subject and done. We are now at the last spread for the day, which as always is reading notes. I like having 2 pages for this so I don't have to worry about how much I write. If I am reading a book and I want to write down my thoughts so I can get them organized, this can get very messy because of that. Having extra space helps in not running out of space and not feeling pressured as to how much space I have is limited. And if I do run out of space in these 2 pages, since this is the last spread in the setup, I have a bunch of empty pages after this so I don't have to worry about running out of space. I wasn't sure about it at the beginning, but looking at it now, the circles were a good idea. I like having spreads where I draw, but it's also nice to take a break from that and have simple setups that aren't too intricate. Thank you for watching to this point, and it means a lot to me. Until the next video, goodbye, and also a goodbye from Blobby here. Goodbye.